All right, guys, we're back. It's Chris,
Week 11.
week 11. I was good last week. I'm not good this week. We got special guest Samaj Robinson, the superstar defender on Independence Patriots. We got a lot to talk about. Players of the week, tons of games. It's rivalry week. Last week before the regular season, last week before the playoffs start. So let's get to it. So the reason why I asked Samaj to come on the show is because I remember back at the beginning of the season, guys, DJ McFadden told me this team reminded him so much of the 2023 team. Bunch of young kids, started out slow, got going. And this team, Samaj, you guys are doing the same thing. You won 3 in a row, you're 7-2. How have you guys gotten it together through this tough schedule to get ready for a playoff push?
We just been sticking together as a team, and when it's us out there on the field, because McFadden put us in these adverse situations during the spring and summer, so we know how to bond as a team when it get tough.
Okay, tell me what's an adverse situation?
All the straightening, the heat, the long practices, practicing in the rain, all of that.
The question that we always want to know, I know you're a defensive guy,
Sure.
but what is it that he does so well about scripting his first 10, 12 plays on offense every week? How does he do that, and does he use you guys on defense to do that?
Yes, sir. He definitely uses us throughout the week. We have our starting defense go out there on scout team to prepare them for a defense that will go against on Friday.
So you're going to give us any hints of what he's going to do Friday against Butler? You know we got Coach Hales on the show.
Yes, sir.
Game plan not there yet.
Samaj, that's very unique and unusual to have ones going against ones in practice.
Yeah.
Is it a philosophy of iron sharpens iron?
Yes, sir.
Do your coaches, do they set up the other team's defense, or do you just play what you normally play as a defensive unit, or do you actually run the other team's defense?
We actually run the other team's defense to prepare them for different looks that they'll get.
Okay.
Tell me about what makes this rivalry with Butler so big, and how much does it mean to you guys, and is it more than just another game?
It's more than just another game. It got playoff implications on it. The rivalry, is more than just like you yourself. It goes back to history.
But tell me about that. I mean, like, is this a game you guys talk about all summer long? You talk, when you're in middle school, do you say, I can't wait to get to play, Butler the last week of the season?
Yes, sir. We're looking forward to this game.
Why so? I mean, but why is this such a big rivalry? I mean, you guys play Mallard Creek, you play West Charlotte. What is it about this game?
It's just the history past with this game, with this team.
So this is the guy you don't want to lose to. I'm sure you guys probably see them at the mall or whatever.
Yes, sir.
You can't give us any insight. I'm trying to get you to tell me something. No secrets.
Huh?
You looking over at mom to get permission? Or you looking at the Cowboys?
No, I'm watching the TV.
No, that's the way a natural rivalry is. That it's just you grow up knowing about that team and wanting to beat that team. Is that your situation?
Yes, sir. We don't want to be a senior class that gets remembered for losing to Butler.
Ooh, okay.
Wow.
This is like Carolina and Duke in basketball, I guess.
Like a Bill Belichick press conference.
Yeah. We can't get Samaj to get into the thing. He's ready for the big game.
He's more audible than Belichick.
Yeah.
Samaj, last question. Did you think that you guys were going to get to this point? I know there were some tough times during the season, but did you guys think you could get to this point?
For sure. We definitely did.
Why so?
The way we practice, the way we work, the way we live is everything.
Yeah. I said last question out loud. What is it that makes Coach McFadden such an effective coach before we let you get out of here?
The way he bonds with his team, he knows his players well. He knows, like, sometimes, like, you can't yell at another guy how you want to yell at another kid because, some kids, like, it'll break them down and stuff. So that's really it for him.
All right. Well, look, man, best of luck to you this week. Good luck in the big game with Butler. I know that's one you guys want to get, and good luck in the playoffs after that.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
All right, man. Take care of
Good
yourself.
luck.
All right.
Samaj Robinson of Independence. Not giving us very much there, Chris. We couldn't get anything out of him. I tried. I did try.
I would say he's been coached up really well by Coach McFadden.
He's been coached up very well by Coach McFadden. Well, look, another team that's really hot is Huff. Huff beat Myers Park 28-3 on Friday. Dale was at that game. We did hear from the Huff star Jameer Anderson after the game. We're going to play that and get Dale thoughts on the backside.
2 huge plays.
Yes, sir.
Tell me about what the plays look like. Does that look like it was like a wheel right out of the backfield
it
on the
was a
first
go
one?
ball. Outside, I know our team needed a big play. I told Coach there was a man. The corner kept pressing me. I said, Coach, we gotta go deep, take a shot, and I made a play, back to back. Did what we had to do for the team. We came out with the win, 28-3, conference champs.
The other play, y'all had a bunch of long drive. Ethan looked like he was going to run. Did
Yes,
you
sir.
give up and think that
Yes,
he was
sir.
not going to throw you the ball? You kept moving around.
Actually, they was in cover 2, and I seen Ethan scramble. So, we work on scramble drill a lot in practice. I followed my coaching, scramble drill, found an open spot in the defense, got to a touchdown.
Obviously, Duran's a highly recruited player,
Yes, sir.
been hurt.
Yes, sir.
Y'all have had an opportunity to fill in at receiving position. I mean,
sir.
obviously tonight you came up big. What's
I
that
know-
been like?
I know my big brother was hurt. We said we needed a receiver to make some plays. I told my coach I'm going to step up. I was born for this. I live for these moments. So I never shy away in these type of moments. This is what I do.
And it's like your coach was saying, how proud are y'all to now
very
you win a
proud of my
conference with a
team.
week to go.
This is a real brotherhood. And, every year they say, Huff, playoff, we never make it through. This year we're going to get over the hump.
Those Huff guys, they're very determined about this year being the year for them. Dale, you were at the game. What'd you say?
Mm-hmm. So it's definitely a different, I think, attitude on the Huff sideline for sure. For all these other seasons that I've been on a Huff sideline, this is definitely a difference. Now, last week I made a comment and we talked about on our OT show and all about finishing games. And this was a game that Huff finished. And, when I got there right at kickoff, I got to give Myers Park a huge amount of credit for playing fantastic defense. They kept themselves in the game the entire game until that last part of the fourth quarter. And it's a situation where I always tell people that one thing's about your offense is that they can be your best defense as well by allowing your defense to get rest and not putting your defense into bad field position and all those other things that an offense can do, even if they don't score. And unfortunately for Myers Park, they're in the second half, they lost their quarterback, and that did not help their situation at all. That kind of, I think, set them back a bit. It changed how they played. It changed a lot of dynamics in that game.
Mhm.
So in the end, they weren't able to finish. Not just on their offensive struggles, defensively, they had some breakdowns, and Huff just kept grinding at it. They kept doing what they had to do. They had a lot of penalties. They had a lot of mistakes. They had one play that we had 3 unsportsmanlike calls and a block in the back that was on the back of and a pick six. So fantastic pick six. They score, but you can see in my video, Langston, I sent you that it was a kid blocked another kid out of bounds and he's standing over taunting him. And then you see a flag come in.
Yeah.
And then there were 2 other flags, another flag on a player. And apparently, what Coach Baker told us Friday night, a flag on the coaching staff. And then, of course, you had that block in the back. And so instead of a pick six touchdown, Huff's back on their own 20-yard line.
Yeah, like a gazillion miles of penalties. Gary Huff.
And then, that big catch that you saw over the middle
Mhm.
in the highlights, that came 2 plays after that situation. So they just played lights out.
Yeah, Gary, Huff has shut out 3 of the last 4 teams they played. They have another shutout. They've held another team to 6 points. Is this the best defense in North Carolina?
I think that remains to be seen. But they're one of the best. We'll know once we get to the playoffs. I think they have the best defensive coordinator. You know, and I know Sam's he's gonna look at me sideways, but Sam's a head coach. He's not a defensive coordinator anymore. So so we're splitting hairs right there. But I think, you know, they have the best defensive coordinator in North Carolina. So you would have to ask him, is that the best defense he's coached? I think he'd be a better judge of that. But, you know, they're going to be a tough out. I can't wait. And I know I'm prognosticating, but I can't wait until I see them in West Charlotte.
Chris,
If they let everybody in. If they let everybody in.
I asked him, and I know you're going to go to Chris. I asked him before the game, or excuse me, it was at halftime. I was going to ask him before the game. I didn't get there in time.
Yeah.
Would they hold Myers Park to 0, 7, or 14? Because I really didn't think there would be more than 2 scores.
Mm-hmm.
And there wasn't but 2 scores. But the things, I think he played better Friday night than what he expected that they would play, because he thought that Myers Park would have some opportunity to do a few things. So
I think
with them.
You know, they like getting that goose egg, that shutout, but I think it's more important to play a lot of kids. So everybody's invested. You have less parental complaints about playing time.
Mm-hmm.
And you never know when somebody's going to go down. You would love to have experienced backups. And
the kid we just had on, Anderson, replaced Tyran Evans, that's going to Miami and caught 2 touchdown passes.
Right. So you develop depth. I think that's more important, to develop depth and keep, you know, everybody invested in the team, especially the parents, when you got a lead like that, as opposed to saying, okay, let's go get a shutout. You know,
right. Chris, your thoughts on Huff and, you know, 30,000-foot view. I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Gary, because you see a lot more. How does this Huff defense compare to the other ones you've seen around the state?
Yeah. Well, let me start by, you know, Coach Baker invited me around several times over the summer. I've seen this team, and they do just seem to be a little bit different than some of the Huff teams of the past, whether it was with Coach Aldridge or, you know, some of the other regimes in the past. And I do think that this team has a little bit more of maybe a locked-in mentality or a locked-in presence. I think that they expected to be in this championship. And I think it's showing them. And you asked if they are the best defense in the state. I'm looking at it right now, and statistically speaking, they're third, and by a small margin. You know, Millbrook right now is far and away the best defense, giving up just under 5 points a game. Tarborough's right there, and then Huff right there giving up just shy over 8 points a game. And that is significant looking at this 8A level. You know what they say, defense wins championships. So I like what I see of this Huff team. I saw them the first week of the year. I really think that they are just a little bit different. Now, granted, you know, the narrative's been out there. You know, they need to win in the playoffs. We want to see them win the big one. We all do. And they've got to do that before they're anointed, but I think they're well on their way.
Gary, can they win the big one this year?
Oh, yeah. They definitely can. They definitely can.
And you say that because?
I say that because, 1, they're talented. 2, they are well coached. 3, they have great quarterback play. And I like their offensive line. You know, in the past, under previous regimes, as you mentioned earlier, they were only average at best on the offensive line. They have a great offensive line this year. And, you know, they're too deep at running back. Quarterback play is solid. Baker's a great play caller. I just think that, you know, if they can stay away from penalties and turnovers, and you say that in every game, they have just as much a chance to win the state championship as West Charlotte. I would be highly surprised if neither one of them win the state championship.
All right, I want to come back to that, but that brings me to another point. We on this show for many years, you would praise Huff's talent, but you would hate their play calling because you would say they would always play for field goals. They're scoring now.
Yes.
They're not winning 10-3 anymore. Does that make a difference?
Oh, it does make a difference. You always want to take 7 over 3. You know, I think in the past, under previous coaching staffs, they were playing for a field goal. And to me, that's playing not to lose.
Yeah.
You know, you can't have a mindset of we want to win, but we don't want to lose. I know some coaches say you lose more games than you win. And that just means that teams are capable of winning, but they lose them because they make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
But my philosophy is if you're trying not to lose, how you going to win? And I think this staff, they play to win. They don't worry about losing.
Guru.
Yeah, and you know, I just want to echo what Gary's saying. And you know, we've mentioned the previous regimes, whether it was Coach Miles Aldridge or Matt Jenkins. You know, it was easier, and I don't want to. I'm not trying to say this negatively, and these coaches are my friends, and you know, I don't want to say this the wrong way, but you know, when you had a kicker like Nolan Hoosier who was just dominating on Saturdays and in a big time thing, sometimes it's easy to fall back on that kicker and maybe, you know, play for 3 because you knew that when you crossed the 50, you were in his range. But you know, I'm going to agree with Gary right now. This Huff team, they just look different, and I'm not trying to sit here and sing their praises and anoint them because you know there's West Charlotte to deal with and some other teams too, but they are definitely looking the part.
All right, so
and I think they, like Chris said, I think they get that reputation, and it all develops around one game. When they had a huge lead on Chambers, what was that, about 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah, Hollywood was
in the fourth quarter, and Chambers walked them down. I thought that Huff, you know, they were playing not to lose in the fourth quarter, and Chambers walked them down and beat them. You know, so I think that's where that reputation stems from. But these kids, they weren't there.
Different coach, different system, different philosophy. This Huff team is going for the jugular where the other ones did not. Okay, just so we don't get accused of being a Charlotte-only show, I mean, you guys are kind of dismissing this Millbrook team, Chris. Can Millbrook beat West Charlotte Huff in the state final? Said they got the #1 defense in the state.
I think Millbrook can beat anybody. You know, I've had an opportunity to go to their practice. I've sat down with their coaching staff. They have a very well put together coaching staff. A lot of the men are in the building teaching there, which is a big deal. You know, Gary will agree with that. And that Millbrook team, you know, they've assembled a really good looking group of guys. And I absolutely, without a doubt, think that they can win a state championship and be there. You know, getting there and winning, it's two different things. I'm going to sit here on record and say, and, you know, I'm going to get some hate mail and some darts threw at me or whatever, and that's fine. But I do think that their path to the finals is going to be a little bit easier than a Huff or a West Charlotte just because of some of the teams out there. But that's neither here nor there. I do think Millbrook is a very capable football team.
All right. I watched them every week beating people, you know, 90-0 every week. And I'm like, they got to be pretty good. Dale, I'm a little nervous to give you this topic, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools did not apply the HPE rule this past week to any games, despite some big matchups, one of which you went to. Did that surprise you?
After their announcement, I don't know. So if you want to give CMS some benefit of doubt, maybe they have reevaluated games that they are going to lock down. This game, without question came up in our chat. Gary asked it. You know, was this a high-profile game, etc.? And I believe without question, this was the highest profile game that's been played in Charlotte this year so far. It was for a conference championship between two top programs. Myers Park always turns out, and boy, did they turn out at this game. You know, I haven't been to every game at Myers Park, but I've been to a lot of big games. I've been to playoff games at Myers Park. I've not seen this kind of crowd. Yeah. They limited, didn't have.
Did you see increased security? Did you see increased security?
Well, no, I did not. I didn't. But then that doesn't mean it wasn't there. but they did not let us park where we normally park media. I don't know what that was up about. But because of that, I had to drive around other parts of the campus to find a place to park. And, just overall, there were more people there than you would have expected. The game, I would think, under our previous knowledge of situations, should have been a limited game. I'm glad it wasn't.
Yeah.
Then I don't want to turn around and see Independence and Butler limited. I don't want to see any game limited.
I guess
Thursday night.
I guess if CMS is, Gary, pivoting a little bit on this high profile game stuff, it doesn't change the fact that the teams that did have it applied to them lost a large portion of the athletic budget. What do you say to that? What do you do about that?
Well, I don't know for a fact. I think they've probably had about a month to study it. I think they've probably heard the criticisms. But we got another week to see what happens with this. I think, is it Mallard Creek and Chambers?
Yeah.
Do they play that? I mean, that used to be the biggest rivalry.
That was the game.
That was the Howler Championship, and
but Audrey Kell Providence is just as big.
Yeah, that's a big one coming up this weekend.
Is a huge rivalry.
And this whole Friday night is about rivalries.
Yeah.
I mean, you have the Huntersville rivalry. Even though Hopewell is not, anywhere near as good as Huff, it still used to be a huge rivalry. Is it North and West Charlotte? Do they play this week?
Yes.
Yeah, that used to be a huge rival. So I'm interested to see what happens this week. I think once the playoffs start and you don't have as many teams playing, that maybe CMS can take some of those security associates that they have to spread out around the county, and now they can kind of double up on games, and we won't have to worry about this process. But
doing it during the playoffs would also affect the team that's coming from out of county too. Can you imagine being Millbrook? I mean, I'm saying I doubt they come to Charlotte, but say Millbrook has to come to Richmond County better, or Grimsley, and they have to come to Charlotte, and there's an HPE situation, and Grandma can't get into the game.
Yeah,
Watauga comes down.
Watauga, yeah. I mean,
they're not going to have to. They're going to be a number one seed probably. But
you get the point, right?
But with the NCHSAA's playoff spectator rule supersede a CMS rule?
It should.
Yeah, I would think so.
It most certainly should.
And
if people don't know, that's like when it was 4A, the numbers were you had to have a 4,500 seat stadium. You had to have 1,500, I think it was, or 2,000 for visitor.
Yeah,
exactly.
Correct.
Well, we already have been speaking all season about this future matchup between Huff and West Charlotte.
Well, Sam says that game could go to Bank of America Stadium, and then if it went there, it wouldn't be an issue. In fact, Sam is here. What's the deal on that, Sam? Is that still in the plans? If you are lucky enough to get to Huff, would that still move? Now Sam's muted.
Come on, Sam.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was staying muted on when I was gone. Huff's not going to want to move their game if that game happens. I mean, there's a lot of things that got to happen. We got to be, make it there. They got to make it there. There's a lot of good teams. If y'all look at the 8A, I looked at those brackets just the other day, and they're all good teams right now. So anybody can win. So, I'd be super excited if we could go to Bank of America. That was on the table at one time, but it depends on what week it would be. And, more than likely Huff's got home field advantage. They're not going to want to move. We would move if it was at our place, yes.
I mean, I don't know what type of deal you guys get from the Panthers, but you get a whole lot more butts in the seats at Bank of America than you can at Huff High School. You probably get 20,000 at Bank of America.
Yeah, and they're 1-0 there this year. We're 0-1.
That's right. No, he's Sam's always selling. Okay, Sam, we'll talk to you later. Sam's always selling. All right, moving on. Charlotte Latin had beaten Charlotte Country Day guys 3 out of the past 4 years. A lot of times there were blowout games. Latin actually got up And then Country Day makes this phenomenal comeback behind their star 5-star wide receiver, Braylon Clark. And they got a huge win, 24-21 against their rival that just made everybody go crazy. And Braylon caught a 77-yard touchdown pass with how much time was up, Braylon? Like 90 seconds left, 80 seconds left?
Yes, sir. I think it was like 90. It might be a little under that, but it's like 90.
Yeah, but tell me about that play. What was that like? First of all, this is the last play of the game. What do you think about right here when they turn the ball over on downs? Game's over.
I mean, whenever I was on defense, I was just hoping they didn't catch the ball, or if they did, we just had to rally up and make the tackle. So once I see them drop the ball, I knew we had the game in the bag.
Yeah, how'd you guys come back? They're up 17-7. You know, they're kind of doing their thing, and you guys looked a little listless, for a long time. How'd you guys turn it around?
I mean, we were up 17-7 going into half.
Yeah. I'm sorry, they were up 17. Yeah, they had come back. I'm sorry, they had come back. Yeah.
Yeah, Latin came back, so we were up 17-7, and we just I guess Latin, they got a couple of points on the board. They were up 21-17 with maybe like a minute to go. They missed the field goal, and we knew by then we just had to come back and score and finally deliver because we've been working really hard this week for this game, for this rivalry game.
What was that play called?
Yeah, it's called Depot. It's called Depot, X-ray Depot. It puts me in the slot, and it was just a deep post over the middle, so I knew I had the safety one-on-one. The quarterback just had to throw it.
And you knew it was good from the time you let it go?
I did. Yes, sir.
What's that like when you're running down the field and you know they can't catch you and you know this is about to win the game? What's that feeling like? And everybody's going crazy.
I mean, it was a great feeling. It was a great feeling for sure. Like whenever I caught it, you can probably see in the video, I almost tripped. So I had to catch my balance, and then I just wanted to make sure I didn't get walked down.
That would be embarrassing. Are you a Country Day lifer? Have you been there all the time?
I have not. I got the Country Day my 8th grade year.
Okay. I mean, because you could go anywhere. Why did you decide to go to Country Day? You could have gone to one of these big powerhouse, privates or publics. Why Country Day?
I mean, Country Day is going to get me ready for college academically and I feel like physically too, because we have everything we need. We have the best resources. We have the best weight room, and I feel like we probably have one of the best weight rooms in the nation. And then we go to the academic part. There's I'm always gonna be fine with schoolwork.
Right.
They're getting us prepared, so I won't whenever I get to college, I won't have any trouble with my schoolwork.
When did you start knowing that you were going to be, a big time player? You're a 5-star recruit. We can talk about your offer list. It take us 20 minutes. When did that start happening for you? And then first of all, when did you start realizing you were better than everybody else? And when
my phone just lagged. I'm sorry. Can you repeat that? My phone just cut out.
When did you start knowing that you were a little bit better than everybody else, that you're a little bit different? And then second part of the question, when did your recruiting start picking up?
Okay, so I probably say whenever I started feel myself taking off, maybe whenever I got into middle school, around 12 years old, with 7-on-7, I played for this team called Unconquered, and we would go around the nation and just play, and I feel like I was always dominating in those tournaments, scoring six or 7 touchdowns each game. Or not each game, but each tournament.
And then
Braylon, give us a shout out of your quarterback. What do you like about your quarterback? Who is your quarterback? Because
Can you repeat that? My phone, I don't understand why it keeps cutting.
Yeah, I was saying, can you give us a shout out about your quarterback? Can you tell us about him?
It's muted.
You play a totally dependent position.
I can answer the second question though. I think you asked when am I recruiting?
Yeah.
So my recruiting started picking up. It picked up really. I got my first offer this summer going to my freshman year from Florida State, and then I just played I played 2 games, and then I got UNC, and then I think I got NC State a couple days later after that, and then it just took off from there.
What are you looking for as you start thinking about college? I know you're probably not, narrowing your list this early, but what are you looking for as you start, looking at these colleges?
I mean, I'm definitely looking for culture and then life after football, because I'm more than just a football player. I have there's way more to life than just playing football. And then obviously what can help me go to the NFL, because that's my dream.
When we were much younger, all the guys in this show, the deal was just to get to college, and if you go to the pros, that'd be great. Now you guys become millionaires in college. Is it hard not to think about I'm gonna be able to pay mama house off in a couple of years? Is that hard not to think about that?
I mean, it's definitely a thought in the back of my head, but I don't really worry about the money part right now because I'm just trying to have fun and just keep playing, just playing the sport that I love. So I don't really think about the money.
And what's it like being targeted every week? Because I'm sure every game you guys play, they're like, I'm getting him, I'm taking him out because I'm making a name for myself. What's that like?
I mean, it definitely can be frustrating at times, but I have to deliver every week and show why I'm the number one player in North Carolina every time. So I can't let that get in my head.
Yeah, well, you are that. But tell me about your quarterback, Morales. What's he been like for you? Because you play a dependent position. He's got to get you the ball.
I mean, he's been doing his job this year as long as I just want him to keep trusting me each every week. So as long as he keeps trusting me, just keep throwing me the ball, I don't have any problem with him. And then he did his thing versus Latin. He's been playing. He's been doing his thing these last couple of weeks.
You guys are so young. I mean, what's Nate's last name, the other defensive back with you?
Dollard.
Nate Dollar. He's a 5-star guy. You're a 5-star guy. You got a stud quarterback. What's the future like at Country Day with all these sophomores there?
I mean, I'm this exciting future for sure. We can't wait. Well, we know our time is now, but we just know when we're juniors and seniors, we'll all have that chemistry, and then we'll all have experience. So we know we'll be ready. We have to come out with the state.
All right. Last week, that guy on the right side of the screen, Gary Richmond, said Country Day Latin was for the bronze medal because Providence Day and Christian was for the gold medal. Are you guys going to be in that gold medal game in the next couple of years?
Oh, yes, sir. Most definitely. We'll definitely be in that gold medal game for the conference. Yes, sir. We'll definitely be in it.
Absolutely. But, man, thanks for joining us. Best of luck to you. Keep doing what you're doing. And when you get ready to make that college decision, tell me first.
I got you.
All right, man. Take care of yourself.
Thank you.
That's Braylon Clark. Guys, I don't know if you guys know, that is one of the very best players in America at any age. I mean, he is stud puppy.
That's a good young man too.
Yeah, he's number 6, I think, in the sophomore class, and I think in the overall rankings, he's top 50 among all classes. So he is he's a serious player. All right, we're gonna take a quick break. After this, we'll be back with Player of the Week, and we're gonna bring the coaches in and talk about the big games coming up.
Hey, this is Chris Hughes, host of the Observer's Talking Preps. Proud to say that our show is growing and growing and growing, and we've got a brand new schedule. Mondays at 8 p.m., get our Players of the Week. No more waiting. Then on Tuesday, 8 p.m., catch me and Sam and all the guys of the number one show in high school football in North Carolina, Talking Preps. Wednesdays, 8:30, Dale Ross and Jim West will host Talking Preps OT Live, talking about statewide issues, trends, and interacting with viewers. And don't miss our post-game show Fridays at 11 p.m. where we wrap up all of the night's actions. At Talking Preps, we've got you covered all week.
All right, guys, we're back. I got everybody on the screen, so it's time to go to the big three and see what I can't use that word, what the number one voice of high school football has to say about the best games in North Carolina this week.
All right, guys, my time of the year, best week of the year, rivalry week. Not that many rivalry games this week, but nonetheless, it's still going to be a great week of some high school football. For the most part, a lot of the fields are going to start turning brown, at least the ones that aren't turf. But anyway, let's crank it up. We got some Thursday action this week. Friday's Halloween, so a lot of schools are going up to Thursday. We're going to go over to Wake County, Cardinal Gibbons at Cary. Gibbons can wrap up the Triangle 6A, 7A league, but Cary can still force a co-championship if they win. This is a battle of two great quarterbacks. Gibbons senior quarterback Connor Lindsley, he went 13-14 for 328 and 6 touchdowns in their win against Sanderson last week. Nick Grenna, he's a guy that we focused on and highlighted here on Talking Preps a few weeks ago. He could be an X factor if he's on his A game. He has accounted for nearly 1,700 yards of offense this year and about 20 touchdowns. We know we like to talk about that Nick Drew defense. Gibbons has a sophomore tackling machine, a guy named Skylar Austin, so I do like him. Moving over to the Sandhills region, Cape Fear at Scotland. Cape Fear is 8-1. That is a little bit of an asterisk. They got to win by forfeit the 71st game, taking on Scotland County. That is a Halloween game. Scotland's one of these teams. They're really starting to hit the right note at the right time of the year. Both these guys are undefeated in the Tri-County 6A, 7A, so this should be a good one. Cape Fear, they blasted Terry Sanford. I know we're going to highlight one of their guys this week. They got a dual threat quarterback in Geronimo Sanchez. Yes, I love that name, Geronimo. He's pushing 1,000 yards rushing and 1,000 yards passing on the season. He's a hard-nosed physical kid. He's about 6'4", 220 plus. I think if he was playing for a lot of teams, he'd be a lineman, but he's got some swift feet. He is a great guy. And don't forget about Ty Jones. I think we're going to talk to him this week too. He is a bruiser for Scotland County. They're a team that's very sound on offense. They're having a late season surge with a freshman running back named Mike McLean. And if he can get out in some space, I think he can make some of those video game moves. Moving up to the western part of the state, I love to go from Dare to Cherokee, like our guy Grice says.
Grice.
AC Reynolds at TC Robertson. Both these teams are undefeated in the Mountain Athletic Conference, the MAC. That's always good football up there. Senior running back Tyvon Patterson Davis. He devastated Inca last week. Had another one of those ice bath games, as Coach Griner likes to say. He had 200-plus yards on 27 carries. He's rushed for 560 yards in the last 4 games combined. But if you look at the Rams, if you get focused on them, that rocket backfield, they will get you because they got a good little combo, quarterback-receiver combo between Avery Hollifield and Caden Ray. So don't forget about that. And by the way, I got to give some love to the TC Robertson Rams. I gave a Player of the Week football to their sophomore quarterback, Karad Harris, a few weeks ago. But it's the defense up there at TC Robertson that I really like to talk about. Let me read some of these names. It's Skolldagger, James, Dinwiddie, Cyber, and Banks. Those are 4 juniors and a sophomore who all have
What was that first name? Skolldagger?
James, Dinwiddie, Cyber, and Banks.
That's a football name.
It sounds like a law firm. That's a law firm is what that is.
By the way, I'm going to do a bonus game. I only get 3, but I'm going to give you 4. Cleveland 9-0. They're going over to take on Clayton 7-2. That's a good one too. But that's my big 3 or 3.5, however you want to say it.
All right. I did say before the break I was going to talk about players of the week. Now I'm so excited to let Chris go. I forgot to talk about players of the week. Speaking of Clayton, Chris, we had Aiden Smalls on. If you guys didn't see the Player of the Week show, I'll put a link up on the screen. You can take your phone and go right to it. Or you can go to charlotteobserver.com and check that out. Clayton Smalls had a huge game. Caden Davis, Jace Goodwin of Providence Day, Kason Jones of Mount Heritage, just phenomenal game. AJ McLean of Ashbrook, Coach Griner had a huge game in a win over Crest. Ashbrook had a stop at the end. This Ashbrook team, Griner, is looking like a danger in 5A.
Yeah, I totally agree. That would be my team that I would consider like they are built for the war. They play great defense.
Yeah,
a very physical football team too. So, that would be my pick to win the state championship in that division, no doubt.
Yeah, then one of the guys we had join us on the show, you guys got to check out the interview with Ty Phillips. My man said he was sore after he ran 37 times for 308 yards and 6 touchdowns. Jalen Ryan, we talk about Samari Matthews over Huff. He's got Smoke Island. I don't know what Ryan calls his island, but nobody's thrown a touchdown against him all year. Lorenzo Sanchez up at Avery County, 33 rushes, 343 yards, and the second most touchdowns of a single game ever by a North Carolina player. And then Concord, we got to see those beautiful black lines. The quarterback, receiver AJ Davis had 3 catches for 188 yards, and Hales doesn't understand why I don't throw to him more.
Right. 3 for 3. Let's go, man. Let it rip.
Come on, Shep.
gotta get that man the ball.
Shep is a defensive coach at heart.
Yeah, well, Sam is.
If it ain't broke,
Sam's finally
if it ain't broke, don't fix it, man. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
All right. Well, you guys don't see Cam here, so Chris is gonna do some double duty and tell us about Cam's big 3.
All right, let me readjust my seat. If I can channel my inner Cam, let's see if I can do a good job to do his segment. But anyway, hey, he's got 3 good games picked right here in the North Piedmont, South
Always
Piedmont
Cabarrus
area.
County with that guy, though, Chris. Always Cabarrus County with that guy.
Always Cabarrus, I know. But hey, he's got a good one up there in Mooresville at Lake Norman. That is for the North Piedmont Conference League title game. Mooresville, man, I like those guys a lot. I saw him last week. Brody Norman, their senior quarterback, he's got 1,600 plus passing yards. He's got a 25-4 touchdown interception ratio. But they've also got 1,600 yards rushing as a team as well. So you can't just focus on Brody Norman. Lake Norman, they've got a sophomore quarterback in Caden Kraft. I know we've talked a lot about him over the last 2 years. He's got 1,400 plus yards, 15-2 TD and INT ratio. He's going to be a big timer playing on Saturdays. So that's going to be a good game. Shifting over, I know this is Cam's school, Northwest Cabarrus, going on against J.M. Robinson. Northwest can share the league title or J.M. can win it outright. Let me start real quick with Northwest. I want to give this guy some love. That is a young team. They're going to be a serious contender. Coach Eric Mormon, they're going to be a serious contender here in about a year or so. I think they are the real deal. Their junior quarterback is Hudson Irvin. They got a sophomore running back in Titus Troy. And by the way, they got a junior Jack Riddle and a freshman Dominic Baker on defense. That team, that is a wow team. I saw them earlier this year. They're going to be really good. But let's also talk about J.M. Robinson. They are very strong, and I think they're a little bit disrespected. I feel like they're kind of flying a little bit under the radar. I think this J.M. Robinson team is really, really good. I saw them first game of the year lose to Myers Park, and, we were kind of scratching our head, but, fast forward to week 11, Myers Park's really doggone good. So I like this J.M. Robinson team. Ari Greenfield, their quarterback, he is a true dual threat guy. He's got 4 receivers that can go to the house on about any play. But it's their defense that I really like at J.M. Robinson. Isaiah Woodburn, he's a tackle machine. They got a sophomore and Ennis Styles I like. And, oh, by the way, Aiden Black, he's that big guy on that anchors that defensive line. So that's a really good team. And let's wrap it up there. Thursday night game, A.L. Brown at West Cabarrus. This is pretty much probably going for second in the Greater Charlotte region or the Greater America Region Conference, whichever one that is. I really, really like West Cabarrus quarterback, Jonta Harris. He's really going to be hard to stop for A.L. Brown. He's a big guy. He's a lumbering guy. A.L. Brown, Kannapolis, they got a pretty good quarterback too at A.J. Settles. He's young. He's exciting. But where the rubber meets the road for the Wonders is Lamar Greer. He's just a couple yards shy of 1,000 on the year. But where the glue that really holds that Kannapolis team, and they're a pretty decent team too, the glue that holds that team together is on defense. Jeremiah Christopher, Maddox Langley, and where the defense really matters, they got a guy named Gavin Yao that's got like 110 tackles for Kannapolis so far. So that's going to be a good game. Good job, Cam, on picking 3 good ones.
You guys see why I call that man the number 1 voice in high school football. That's off the dome, y'all. It's off the dome. That's insane. All right, let's talk about some Charlotte football games. And Hales had to take a break, get some water. That's why he ran off the screen. I'm just going to let you go, Coach. Butler Independence.
Butler Independence, man, let's go. We got the Patriots coming over this Thursday night. Man, one of the things about being back this year, one of the things I'm most excited about is to be able to be a part of this game again. I know there's great rivalry games around the state, but, as far as big school rivalries, like being a part of this one, and it's been a huge part of my life for almost 25 years now. Yeah. And it's special. And, I'm blessed that I get to see DJ McFadden's script up close. I hope I'm able to pick something up and learn something from him. And hopefully our kids are able to hang around and battle long enough because, kidding aside, they're a darn good football team and they have state championship aspirations for a reason. I know that they're so often overlooked in so many polls. That they're just, the teams they've lost to are really, really good football teams, so, like I said, man, we're going to show up Thursday night and we're going to hope for the best. But, like I said, it's special to be a part of this rivalry and, to have it on, at our place, on our turf, it's just, there's nothing like it for me. Like I said, it's been part of my life for 25 years almost. And every year, it brings something different, brings something special.
Sam, after all that sandbagging, break the game down for me.
No problem. Got no problem. Yeah, like he said, once he gets through the script, if it's still a 0 on the independent side after the script, then I'll tell you what. I tell you what, then they got a real good shot because they are coming to the Butler Bulldogs Arena in that new turf. It is a tough place to play. It's the most beautiful field in Charlotte, no doubt. It was pretty exciting to play there. And I mean, at the red end zones, I don't know what they're going to do with the track. If they make it red, that'd be great too.
Yeah.
But this is the thing: if it becomes a dog fight, then the dogs can win it.
DAWG, right?
Yeah, that's right. The DOGS can win if the dogs show up. Yeah, if it becomes a dog fight, DAWG. So I really think that this is a great game. If it becomes an explosive game, then Independence would favor them.
Yeah.
But I think that the DNA of Butler can slow this game down. They did it to us very well. I think can do it to them. It just depends on how physical that they are banged up or not. I don't know. I haven't looked at their roster. Only Hells knows that.
Chris.
So exciting game. You could throw out all records in rivalry games that they're comparable. And both of these teams are very comparable, no doubt. So anything can happen.
Chris.
Speaking of records, Sam, since I got married 2 weeks ago, my record in our Pick'em Observer Pick'em contest has gone to crap. Like
you let everybody else, you let everybody in the contest, man.
Like I had like 4 losses, and now I got like 14.
Chris, you picking a fight. You don't want to have the first fight.
Hey, speaking of records, and I know Lynx is going to throw this game out there, so this is for you, Hells. And do I need to pick the puppy dogs, or are you going to play like the Bulldogs? Which one is it, the puppy dogs or the Bulldogs?
Man, I'm telling you, if you pick anybody except Independence in this game, you need your head examined. I mean, they're a better football team. They're big, they're strong, they got great coaches over there. I mean, I just hope we can hang in there with them for a little while, make it interesting.
My man. Hey, my man.
For those of you who don't understand the reference,
ladies and gentlemen, that is Coach Speak 101.
Yeah. For those of you who didn't get the reference that Chris just made years ago when Tom Knotts was the coach at Independence, he went on. He gave me an interview and he called Butler the puppy dogs
for weeks. And
it became a big thing. It was on television. It became a really big thing.
Hey, do you guys know who won the next game after he called us that? Because I do.
You did.
Yeah, that's right. We did. And then like 17 out of the next 19 or something like
that.
Yes,
the rivalry did change after that. All right, Gary, the Holler Championship's on deck, Gary.
Yeah, I think there'll probably be more action at the 50 than it will be in the game. And you don't know what you're going to get from either team. You just don't know
either.
I can tell you one thing. Chambers is an explosive team, but their quarterback went down in the first series with us. And it made them change. Now their JV QB that came up there, they've only lost 2 games now on JV. Their JVs are really good. But he's he's like 6'7" JV quarterback, pretty good. But now he's going to have to play varsity. I don't know how severe the injury is to their quarterback, but they are dangerous. Chambers is dangerous with that kid at the helm. Now they can't be they run wing T misdirection with that QB. So it's very impressive to see that Captain Munderland is adapted to something, like whatever it takes to win. Because a lot of times the guys coming in from the NFL, they're like, we're not running that. We're going to run this. You know what I'm saying? And it's pretty impressive to see him do something outside of the norm of something he's seen in a long time. So I was impressed.
This is an important game for Malik Creek, Dale, because they have to get right for the playoffs. I know they beat Coach Hales' team last week, but they have been very much up and down. If they started out looking like a team that could really compete for a state championship. So don't they really need to go into the postseason with a big win?
Well, of course, every team needs to roll into the postseason with wins, I think. About the worst thing you could do is lose on your last week of the season.
Yeah.
And then, expect to be able to get right back up and roll in the playoffs. So I think it's a very important game for Mallard Creek. One of the things I wanted to say is in following the rivalries in Charlotte, and we just talked about the Independence Butler, which overall had some of the biggest games I've attended. Played at the Memorial Stadium, and the big one that was played at Providence that was really the hump game for Butler. And Just some great games there. But these two teams, some of the hardest hitting football I have seen was there towards we'll say the Brand years.
Yeah,
So
17,
Aaron Brand's
17
years.
through 20.
Do what now?
17 through 20.
Yeah, so those were some of the hardest hitting football games I have ever seen. Big bodies, hard hitting, huge rivalry. You talk to people at Mallard Creek, they all look to playing Vance/Chambers and vice versa. And now I wonder, in this game, this is I personally, if it's on our pick 'em, which I don't expect it will be, I will be picking Mallard Creek. I think Mallard Creek wins this game. But the question is how do they play it? And can they get rolling? And if for some reason they get confused by all that misdirection at line and in the backfield of the wing T and should lose to Chambers, that would just be devastating.
Well, that's kind of my point.
This is when we often speak of emotion versus emotional. We've always talked about that in this game. Which team is going to play with emotion and which team is going to be emotional? And I don't know because I think it's a down year for both teams, in my opinion. And so I don't know what role emotion or being emotional will play in this game.
Well, it should be interesting. But Chris, another big rivalry, a traditional rivalry, is Myers Park and South Meck going down to Memorial Stadium because South Meck's field's being redone. Both of these teams are coming off, tough loss to the Huff. They both want to get that number 2 seed. What do you see here?
Well, it's going to be a good rebound opportunity for Myers Park, obviously, after last week's game with Huff. I'm not going to pick against South Meck. I don't know who's going to win. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say either or. But this South Meck team, they've really impressed me. Coach Joe can bench press 100,000 pounds. Evans is, he and that team took on the moniker the Road Warriors before the year started because all their games are on the road. I saw them earlier in the year. They really look good. They got a great little quarterback. I don't know about the game itself, but again, that South Meck team. The only thing I can say is they're going to play hard and play to the whistle and probably represent the the mentality of Coach Evans.
Hales, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, the thing about it is, when you look at this game on paper, I mean, Myers Park's got the stars, they got the big time recruits, they got this, they got that. South Meck's just a bunch of grinders, a bunch of guys that have taken on, number one, the personality of their coach, but just a bunch of guys. I mean, you start winning game after game after game after game, you start to build this belief, and now they are greater than the sum of their parts. So, again, on the surface, if this game was played on paper, obviously you go with Myers Park just because of the perceived talent gap, but they don't play it on paper. They play it on fake grass. So, I think it's going to be a battle down there.
With wood chips in it.
With wood chips, man. It's going to be slippery. Force them guys to turn the corner a little bit.
Nobody knows that. That's my only knock on that place. Most beautiful stadium there is, but why is there wood chips in there? Why for one game a year to make it make it cooler? Like, I don't understand it. Like,
because they play soccer.
But how is wood chips better for soccer? Someone explain that to me.
I can't. I don't know.
I don't know about it.
Dale, you heard some things about South Meck at the Myers Park Huff game on Friday night, right?
Yeah, so as things started going south for Myers Park in the game Friday night, I had several coaches. I'm not going to name any coach that said this, but to the T, I'll summarize what they said. If they think they're going to have a cakewalk against South Meck, they got another thing coming. That'll be a team that will be prepared to play. And as I think Coach Hale said, they're grinders. So if Myers Park, the coaches that spoke to me about this, they felt that if Myers Park just goes into that game thinking that, well, it's South Meck and we can win this game, they might get their little hiney spank. So
I'm going to put this on a pick 'em just for that.
No, don't do that.
just for that statement right there. All right, at the beginning of the year, Dale, I would not have picked Ardrey Kell Providence to be the biggest game in the regular season finale week, but here we are, and here it is. What do you think about this game? Providence gets the conference title with the win. Ardrey Kell and Palisades could tie if Ardrey Kell wins.
Biggest game. So I guess for the final week, it's the game with the highest implications, because this one is either for sole right to a conference championship, Providence wins.
I'm laughing for what Hale said to chat, not at what you said.
Yeah, the latte bowl. I agree. I will not disagree with that.
Hell, you're the worst at like ratting people out for real right now.
No,
Drew talks about I ain't gonna tell you what coach. I'm gonna tell you exactly what they said. Myers Park's gonna lose this game versus South Lake. He said, no one tell anything. Don't tell Dale anything in confidence. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Gracious.
What do you mean? I didn't say which coach told me anything. God, come on now.
Go ahead, Dale. Anyway, back to the football game. Back to the
football game. But Friday night, it's either sole possession of the conference championship or what will most likely be a three-way tie if Ardrey Kell wins. It's a huge rival game. Anybody in Charlotte knows
a heap of people at this game. A heap of people, Mom.
It will be a heap of people. They'll drive up in their BMWs up to Providence and park beside those BMWs and Mercedes. And
I can tell you who I'm pulling for.
You didn't say that about Myers Park and South Mac.
I can tell you who I'm pulling for.
But South Mac's a little more, red. I mean, blue collar, a little more blue collar than Myers Park is.
All right.
That's yourself when you said red, Dale.
I started to say redneck. I'm sorry.
We're way off the rails, Sam. What were you going to say?
The thing about this game is that it's going to be a highly competitive game, I believe.
Yeah, no, it will be. It will be.
Me and Hales
I probably favor Providence, but this will be a highly competitive football game.
Why are you pulling for Providence, man? Why are you
RPI?
RPI?
That part.
RPI.
Heck yeah, man. Let's go Panthers.
Go Panthers.
West Ward with the 704 cap. They're pulling for you. I think it's gonna be a heck
Get
of
on
a
the
game.
bus, baby. We're on the bus with you.
We're on the bus with you.
This is probably the biggest rivalry in Charlotte nobody talks about, and this across all sports. The baseball rivalry people do talk about, but this is across all.
Well,
sports.
I think it's cool because Ardrey Kell, was basically carved out of a bunch of Providence neighborhoods.
Yes, correct.
And when you go back to those years, that's been a big deal. And to see it now to get to this level finally, I think that's really cool. It's really cool.
All right, let's take a look at something.
Providence was created from South Meck neighborhoods in Myers Park.
Yeah.
But Ardrey Kell was also created from Providence neighborhoods and South Meck neighborhoods. Just so that we understand, it is a big South.
There's only one game that I am rooting. Normally I want the teams that we played because of RPI purposes, but I'm pulling for Garinger over West Meck, which I think West Meck is more talented at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But I blame myself for scheduling West Meck right now with our RPI. I should have never scheduled, thinking it's a rival game, playing for a trophy. Should never.
And you came on here and talked junk about them too after you beat them.
Yeah, man, I should have never scheduled them. They won't get out of the
the ghost of that game is gonna come back to bite you, Sam, because you came on television to talk bad about them. See?
And the fact that we're talking about RPI is everything that's wrong with high school football these days. Because we should be talking about communities versus communities instead of some stupid RPI algorithm.
Yeah, that's right. I agree.
I agree. But these are the Thursday games in the Charlotte area. North Meck and West Charlotte used to be a big rivalry in Gary now in high school. Hopewell Huff is definitely a big rivalry. We talked about the West Charlotte Garinger game. East Meck Palisades. Palisades should win that game because they're going to be, really looking to try to get a share of the conference title if Ardrey Kell wins. Valentine and Rocky River could be an interesting game. Rocky River had a big win last week. And then down in Campbell, A.L. Brown, West Cabarrus, we talked about that game. Barry and Cox Mill, Barry's having a tough season. Central Cabarrus and Harding, same deal with Harding having a tough season. Olympic and Hickory Ridge could be a good game.
Yeah, that Olympic Hickory Ridge game really intrigues me.
Yeah.
I think Olympic's better. They've proven it in every game they played in that conference. But Hickory Ridge, if you really did dive deep in there, Coach Brandon Gentry, those Raging Bulls are getting a little bit better every week.
They've been,
and I'm not saying that they're going to beat Olympic, but I think that's going to be a close game.
Yeah, Olympic's trying to.
So in Langston, this is not. I expect Olympic probably wins this game.
Yeah,
but it'll be one of the very few conference championships for Olympic.
I was just about to ask you, when's the last time Olympic won a conference championship? I was just about to ask you that question. And then we got North Iredell and Statesville playing Country Day, Providence Day in the private schools. It's a big rivalry game. Forest Hills Monroe is a big rivalry game, as Sam would tell you, down in Union County. Community School Days in Pine Lake, that's a big rivalry game. I don't know about rivalries in Lake Norman Lincoln Charter, but this is definitely rivalry week. And then let's look at the Friday games. Burns at Shelby, Chris. That used to be stop the train when Burns and Shelby used to play.
Yeah, that's still going to be a big one. And that one's got conference championship implications. They're both undefeated rolling in it. No, they're not. Actually, I forgot Lincolnton beat Shelby. Then Lincolnton lost to Stuart Kramer. So that one definitely still has some championship implications, but that's going to be some big time football. I'm tempted to go there just for some barbecue.
That's a good barbecue. Corby is off this week, Sam. Would you want to be off the regular season finale and possibly have a bye the first week around the playoffs, get 2 weeks off? Would you want that?
I think Corvian doesn't have a bye there in 2A, right? They play right away.
I don't know. They got a bye this week, though.
Yeah, they got a bye, so it's not a bad idea. If you know you're going to go deep into the playoffs, you don't get a bye week because I think 2 through 7 they don't get byes, so they wouldn't get a bye. They might get the number 1 seed or a top seed, so it's not a bad idea. Make sure you rest up and go into it.
Speaking of byes, I got. Go ahead.
Last time Chris and I had barbecue together was in Shelby.
That's true.
So
right.
I don't know if that's where you were thinking about going.
The only place to go.
Is killing me. RPI, that gummit, West Megro.
The ghost of West Megro coming back to kill you.
I would quit
bad about him.
Let's talk
Sam.
community.
You shouldn't have come on TV talking bad about him. It's coming back.
I'm just saying, not everybody we play non-conference is going to possibly win their conference. Yeah. Everybody, except them.
Okay, well, you just talked about buys. So speaking of buys, when we come back from the break, I have a question for you guys about buys on my favorite part of the show, Coach versus Coach. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Scott Fowler, sports columnist at the Charlotte Observer. I have been here 31 years, but you know what I never have had before here? A newsletter. I've got one now. It's free. I'd love you to sign up for it and get my take. Every single time I have a column, you'll see it first. Panthers, Hornets, college sports, high school sports, whatever controversies going on. Sign up for my free newsletter and you will be able to get my column every single time earlier than anyone else.
Yeah.
All right, we ready, man?
Let's go.
Yeah, lock the daggone door. It's been locked for 2 hours. The door.
Welcome to another edition of Thunderdome.
Man, last week of the regular season, I just looked at these questions, and these are just going to make me mad. So I can't wait to hear your guys' answers for it, Coach versus Coach. Coach Griner, I guess you're still deferring.
No, I'm not deferring no more.
You want the ball.
I'm not following Hells and Gary. They're too good.
All right, man. I'm going to give this one to you first. Coach versus Coach, week 11, final regular season week, rivalry week. We're a bunch of rivals. Let's go head to head. UNC had a chance to upset Virginia yesterday. Went for a 2-point conversion to win. Is that the right choice? Why or why not? Coach Griner, hit it.
Well, this is the wrong person to ask because I've had 2 chances myself and failed on both of them on this year, and we're 0-2 in those games where I had to make this choice. When you need a spark, you can't play it safe, and I think UNC had to play it because they were in the game, and it's at home, it's away, it doesn't matter. A lot of times a team will work a 2-point play. I know I do now, for crying out loud, but you work a 2-point play and you feel real comfortable about it. You feel like you're going to get the right look. You got to go for it. and because he can end the game right then and there. And then you walk off, and now you have momentum. They're not talking about your program. They're thinking about, okay, we get over hump and beat a top 20 team in the nation. So I think it was the right call, especially how the game was going. Just you go for it, but you just got to convert to it. If you can do it, then great. Obviously you look like a hero. Now you look like a zero. So,
Coach Hales, you've been in those situations. What would you do?
Yeah, I think it's the right choice to go for it there, especially if the team you're playing is better than you. I mean, you got a chance to make it really a one-play game. If you make the play, you win the game. So, I think if you're playing a team that's better than you, the longer the game goes on, the worse that is for you. That's why I flattened all the balls before we played Grinder's team. Like, we were like the Deflatriots 101 over there. Like, we try to shorten that game as much as possible. So, like, yeah, the yesterday situation, you had a chance of making a one-play game. Absolutely, that's the right call.
No doubt.
Gary, you're a UNC alum. You're invested. What do you think?
Yeah, I got a bunch of calls after the game yesterday. What did you think? Why? And actually, I didn't see it because I went to the John C. Smith Winston-Salem State game, but I did listen to it on the radio. However, at the pro
for our viewers, radio is a different term. So explain that sometimes.
It's a little transistor.
Yeah. In my car, I was listening to it on the way home. But anyway, as I was saying, at the higher levels in the college and pros, they have analytics staff, and I hate it. To me, I always tell guys in our sports checks, analytics will get you beat. It'll get you beat. Hindsight is always 20/20. You're gonna get it right if you know the result. So I think they did the right thing. And I also think that you have to weigh how the game is playing out. Mm-hmm. And I think in Belichick's mind, he was looking at it like our offense has been awful in the second half. And we might not get back down here. And if we tie this game up, we still got to score again and get a 2-point conversion. Yeah. We might as well get it right now and see what happens. They had nothing to lose. They're not playing for a conference championship. They're the underdog. So I think it was the right decision. There have been 2 major times where I've been a part of a decision like that. We played Independence in 90. I don't know what year it was, but they were in the middle of that 100 and something game streak.
2004 or 2005, that was.
Yeah, and we went for, we scored a touchdown late, and we had a choice: kick an extra point, go to overtime, or go for 2 and win. And we went for the win and didn't get it. Also, as a second-year school, I talked about this last week when we were the team of the year at Advance as a second-year school. We went up to AC Reynolds, and we were the underdog, and we made the score 14-13 with a minute left. And we said, can we beat this team in overtime? And our answer was no. And I brought in my heavy package, my big linemen, my big tight ends, and everybody said, okay, they're going for it. They're going to run the big lineman in there like the fridge. And I guess that was the first RPO because we faked it to the big back and hit the wide receiver on the slant, and we were on to the second round. And everybody said, well, that took a lot of guts. But, if you're the underdog, you go for the win.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hey, I want to go off script for a second. Since y'all all agree that was the right call, but was it a bad play call? You got a left-handed quarterback that you rolled to the right.
I got to be honest, I didn't see it. I didn't see the play. I didn't watch it. I wasn't doing that yesterday. So, but if you're saying sprint out or left-handed quarterback to the right, immediately I say, no, that's probably not the best idea. We ran a toss pass with the running back a few years ago, and I completely bricked and forgot the kid was left-handed. We tossed that thing to the right. He had to flip his hips back. Somehow we still completed it for a 2-point play. But, yeah, man, that's a tough deal, sprinting out to your right being left-handed.
Well, we know Sam's got about 10 2-point plays because they gonna miss the first extra point anyway. So we hit a field goal.
We hit a field goal last game. We hit a field goal. Calm down, 28-yarder, baby.
All right, guys. We'll move to question number 3. I'm going to stick with Gary on this one first off. Gary, would you rather have a first-round bye for the playoffs or play what's better, have some rest or some rust?
I'd rather have the bye because Russ won't last more than a quarter. You still got 3 more quarters. So I'd rather have the bye, get healthy. But here's the biggest thing about the bye. You can look at film, but it's nothing like going to the game yourself and seeing your next opponent in person.
No doubt.
And when you have that bye, you can go scout the game for yourself. And I think that's the biggest advantage is being able to see how big the kids are in actuality, to see how fast they are. You know, you can get an idea looking at huddle, but when you see it for yourself, you got a better idea.
Say what you want to say, Gary. Pick up on some signals. Pick up on some things that really matter. Say what you want to say, Gary.
Hey, Gary, let me ask you this because there's still buys in the 7A. Let's look at Weddington, for example. They're already 9-1. They're off this week, so they're not going to play this week, and they're probably going to have a bye. What about 2 buys going into the playoffs?
They're doing that. They're doing that in 7A.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
top
I think
4 on each side.
Okay, good.
Weddington, like I said, they can go see somebody in person, but you got to remember they're probably going to be playing a lower seed, so they're going to have such a talent advantage that I don't think the rust, even if they're rusty, they're still going to be better.
Yeah,
you know.
Coach Hells, tell me what you did.
Let me get it. I hate it. I hate the bye. Hate the bye. Had the bye twice. Went 0 for 2 behind it. I'm going to speak from Paul Mary when he was up at Mallard Creek. He hated the bye too because they also went 0 for 2 after the bye. And that one year was kind of a special circumstance because our last 2 regular season games, we didn't get to play them. You know, because Independence was involved in an altercation with Rocky River, so we didn't get to play. And then somebody else's team was also involved in an altercation that we didn't get to play them to end the regular season either. So Hickory Ridge, Sam. So we went like almost 28 days between games. And so, no. And if you're talking about rust for a 17, 18-year-old kid, get out of here. Like, you don't get rusty enough. You're talking about a 28, 29, or you got Joe Flacco playing quarterback at 40 years old. Like, yeah, that joker, he gonna need some rest. Like he gonna need some rest. But like these guys don't need rest. Like they need continuity. They need routine. They need to just keep doing what they're doing week after week. Like you said with Weddington, I mean, they already had a week off, so now they're looking at 2 weeks off. And I don't know what their game was like before that, but like ours before we went on that little hiatus we went on a couple of years ago, like our last game was against a team that rarely wins a game. So like we almost went like a month. It was like college bowl season for us. And man, that stuff's hard. Like their focus is like this big as it is. I don't like the bye, man. Just keep rolling.
I'm with you on it. And that's what 8A is going to look like. I think that's everyone gets a bye week 1, right, Chris Hughes?
Not everyone.
I thought in 8A, like it starts later. I'm pretty sure, it starts later. So we have to check that out. But since there's only 24 teams that get in, correct? So 24 teams get in. We have to line up and be in the same state championship role. One of our other Talking Preps guys, he gave me the layout. So everybody in 8A is going to have a bye the first week.
Wow. Not everybody. That's not possible.
Nah, everybody gets a bye first week, and then guess what? The top 4 seats get another bye the following week.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I thought you meant every. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, let me Jim West, I think, send it to me. I'm gonna look at it right now. Hold on.
Wow.
I want to make sure.
I'm pulling it up as we speak. I don't see where it's got the dates. Like the website, the NCHSA, is so hard to navigate sometimes. But man, that's crazy.
It says right here, 8A playoffs, unconfirmed source, but it looks like this. November 7th, no games. November 14th, teams receiving byes play or not playing. Seeds 5 through 12 in the West and seeds 5 through 12 in the East will play on November 14th. So if you're in the top 4, you're not playing until November 21st.
Wow.
Playing like Thanksgiving, baby. Right, rolling the Thanksgiving.
Wow, real.
Well, you practicing on Thanksgiving used to mean something, but I guess it won't mean quite as much anymore. You know what, guys? I was thinking about the question about the Monday playoff seedings. I'm thinking that some schools going to have a special class this week or that week called football class about 10 o'clock. Everybody get together in football and practice on Tuesday and Wednesday that week. I can see that happening.
School's got to care first.
I see how football coaches got real quiet when I put that up on the screen. You notice that they got.
Hey man, we're serious about academics at Butler. We ain't doing that, man. My kids will be in class.
So if you'll have I think a real good idea who you'll be playing Saturday.
I think so.
There's places that, as you say, do these projections. My plan is to do one as well.
Now you and Chris have to do
we're going to have our own.
What your playoffs would look like, though. Don't forget that.
What they would look like.
Yeah.
But
I thought that was going to be tonight.
No, that's when the playoff brackets come out. We're going to compare their bracket versus
exactly. But my question to you guys is, and you may not want to answer this, and I understand that, but maybe you might understand your community. And I'm talking about Sam and Coach Hales here. Since you may know Saturday, will you potentially start doing some game planning if it looks like it's going to be a team you've never played before? Will you try to look at film and determine schemes that they may, and at least try to cut your game planning down?
We're 100% going to exchange film with the people we think we're going to go against. I guarantee it. So say Hales is going against, let's just say they're going against Mooresville. And
it looks like they're going, let's say it looks like they're going to go against Mooresville. Saturday, you say, oh, it looks like Mooresville.
Yeah, I guarantee Hales will reach out to Mooresville, or, he can talk for himself, but I'm pretty sure that's the way we would all do it. Hey, it looks like we're going to play each other. You want to go ahead and do an exchange? Yeah, let's go ahead and do it, because it can't hurt you necessarily. What are you going to do? Send the film that you just sent them to the team?
Right. I think that's exactly what it is.
That's not. He wasn't talking about me.
I'm talking about it.
Sam's got everybody's film already. No, he's got everybody game.
You don't like me. I don't get film like that. I gotta get college logins and start.
Hey, Dale,
he's got a list of college coaches.
Dale, are you trying to say that Sam has a friend that works for Huddle?
I think
Gary, calm down. That's like
Sam has these,
like what Dale just did in the chat. Oh, look what Hale just put in the chat. Oh, look, the latte bowl. Yeah, I saw that.
So that was Gary's line from last week anyway.
What I'm saying is that Sam's got all these star players, and what he's telling the coaches when they say, hey, coach, we're going to stop by the school. We'd like to see player XYZ. Sam says, what's your Huddle login?
I might need a Huddle login. Yeah.
I might need that Huddle login. And yeah, you can come over and see.
We are way off the rails right now. I'm going to put the big man in this one shot. Final thoughts, sir.
Once a dog, always a dog. Go Butler Bulldogs, baby. Let's go. That's it, man. That's all I want to say.
That's the
Go Bulldogs. I'm glad you still love your school, man.
You really threw me off with your final thought right there.
My bad.
Hey, it's rivalry, baby.
Is this the Bulldog symbol? Is that what this is?
No, I was just letting them know, like Nixon, baby.
Like Nixon.
Watergate.
Sam is not a crook.
You got
not a crook. I don't have those Huddle logins.
Y'all see why I script this show now. This is why, right here. All right, this is our lineup. We got Players of the Week on 8 a.m. every Monday. We got this show on Tuesdays, 8 p.m. if I don't get fired next week. We got Wednesday, Dale live on OT. Come on live, talk to him. Friday, Dale and Jim are live with the post game at 11. That show is really taking off. Come in and check that out. And we'll be back next week. That is, go ahead.
We're on Thursday night too, right?
Oh, this week? Yeah, you're on Thursday night this week.
Yeah, we're going to do a show this Thursday.
We got 2 shows this week. Thursday night show this week as well. All right, so that's Sam Grinder, the 2-time state championship coach at West Charlotte. That is Chris Hughes, who is the #1 voice of high school football. He shows you that every week. That's Gary Richmond, retired CMS coach. Dale Ross, the historian, and the 3-time state championship coach for Butler High School, Brian Hales. I'm Langston, and we are done talking preps.